The following program is intended for mature audiences.
A democratic republic of sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
Welcome into the Wicked Weed Studios, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different. I'm Jeremy Greene of ESPN Radio. This is Brian Haynes, and this is the AFC South win-loss projections for 2021. Carson Wentz added to this division. Deshaun Watson is he's doing stuff. Don't quite know how that's going to go. Brian, how do you look at the AFC South going into 2021?
It's a two-team race. Two-team race, 100%. Tennessee and Indianapolis fighting it out to see who's going to be the division winner. And then you have Jacksonville and Houston, who combined could win anywhere from 0 to 5 games.
5 games if they played each other 5 times.
Yeah.
The top of this division is really good. The bottom, sewer water. And that's about the nicest I can say that. So let's get into it with one of the teams that I actually think is good, the Indianapolis Colts.
Yes.
With the addition of Carson Wentz, the Indianapolis Colts are a team that I look at as a legitimate threat to make a run in the playoffs. I'm Jeremy Greene, this is Brian Haynes, and this is the Indianapolis Colts 2021 win-loss projection from the Sportsocracy. I feel like this team is good enough, especially with the addition of Eric Fisher, which shores up the biggest need that I thought they had. I don't love Eric Fisher. I think he's more name than he is substance, but he is a legitimate top 15 starting left tackle in the NFL, which is something that, in addition to the other 4 starters who are pretty good, gives Carson Wentz the best line that he's ever had. I like the weapons. I'm famously high on Michael Pittman.
Yes, you are.
Brian, how do you feel about the Indianapolis Colts?
They're a team that is just shored up that, like you just said with Eric Fisher, shores up the offensive line, is now protecting Carson Wentz. I believe he's definitely got his best offensive line he's ever seen in front of him. I believe he's going to have the best weapons that he's had around him. I think Jonathan Taylor is going to be a huge, big breakout year this year. Even if it wasn't from last year, I think he's going to see upwards of, I'm looking at him at about 12 or 1,300 yards, maybe even more because of the extra game this season, all depending on how healthy he stays. The wide receivers position is something that, I'm really high on Michael Pittman. After that, what do they have left?
T.Y. Hilton, Paris Campbell.
Yeah.
And Zach Pascal. That's better than a lot of teams in this league. I know they like Kylan Granson, the tight end that they drafted out of SMU.
Yeah.
They still have Jack Doyle, who is just Mr. Reliable.
Yep.
And then there's this. I look at this schedule, and there are more wins here than I really know what to do with.
Yeah.
They start off with the Seahawks, which to me is a win.
Yeah.
Play the Rams, the Titans, the Dolphins, the Ravens. That's ugly.
That's an ugly stretch.
But then you go a lot of Texans at the 49ers who, is it Trey Lance? Is it Jimmy Garoppolo? Can Garoppolo stay healthy? Then you play the Titans again. The Titans are out of the way by the midway point.
Yeah.
Then you go Jets, Jaguars, Bills, Bucks, Texans, Patriots, at the Cardinals, Raiders, Jaguars. That's a shitload of winnable games at the end of the season.
Oh, yeah. That stretch from week 13 to week 17 when you're basically only playing one team that you should have a problem with, and that's going to be Arizona. When you have a bye as well there, I think you're going to hit, you hit Tampa Bay there, which is going to be a tough game. It is at home, though, which I believe they could win that game.
I do, too.
And then you go into Houston, which is an automatic win. You get a bye. You get to heal up. And then you get these last 4 games where New England should be an easy win. Arizona is going to be tough, but again, and then that's on the road. But then again, you get the Raiders, which I don't believe too highly in this year, and the Jaguars, which is another win going into the playoffs. And I could just see them kind of coasting in with a possible, if they can make it through that first stretch of those games, they could have a very big win total this year and fight for a higher seed in the playoffs.
Here's the thing. I think they're 8-5 going, or let's see, that'd be 8-5. The 17-game schedule thing's driving me nuts.
Yeah,
the numbers just don't add up in my head.
Yeah,
I have them 8-5 going into that last stretch after the bye. I think after that late bye, they're rested up. I think they win all 4 of those games and they go into the playoffs at 12-5.
Yeah. I think I had them 11-6, so that's a pretty right in that range.
My usual partner, Tank Spencer, also has them at 12-5. Brian, this is how you see the season unfolding. You have the Colts making it to the divisional round of the playoffs and losing to your eventual Super Bowl champion, the Buffalo Bills.
Yes, I do have them beating Baltimore in the first round. I think that they can definitely do some damage. Listen, I believe in Carson Wentz. I believe that he might have. I don't care what way you want to look at it, how he got out of Philadelphia, he got out of there, and this is a whole new start. I think it's going to rejuvenate him. He's back with Frank Reich, which he had his absolute best season, no doubt, under him. He was an MVP candidate before he got hurt. This team is set up defensively and offensively to make a run in the playoffs. I think there's not as much talk about the Indianapolis Colts defense as there should be. Darius Leonard is an absolute stud defensively, and I think they're making pieces that fit together well where this team is built for that Super Bowl run. I think they were look at this. They were a couple plays away from beating the Buffalo Bills last year with Phillip Rivers at quarterback, and I believe that Carson Wentz is an immediate upgrade from what they had with Phillip Rivers.
I agree with you. I have them getting in as a wild card. They're right behind the Titans. They finish a game outside of the division. I've bounced back and forth on how I see this going. When I went through the schedule, they just so happen to finish a game out, and then they run into the buzzsaw, the Bills in the wild card round.
Yeah.
I don't think they can beat the Bills. I also have the Bills as the ultimate champion.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things that could break just slightly different for the Colts that would lead to them making a run in the playoffs.
Yeah.
The last full season Carson Wentz played with a legitimate cast around him, he was an MVP candidate. I think this is the best cast of characters he's ever had around him. I look at this Colts team as vastly improved. I love the defense. I love reuniting Carson Wentz with Frank Reich. And I think this is going to be a good season for the Indianapolis Colts. This has been the Indianapolis Colts 2021 win projection from the Sportsocracy. I'm Jeremy Greene of ESPN Radio. This is Brian Haynes. As always, we are live from the Wicked Weed studio every weekday morning, 9 a.m. in the Sportsocracy. Be sure to click that like and subscribe button and visit our friends at Wicked Weed Brewing, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different. Now we get to a team that I see as damn near the exact equivalent of the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah, I mean, the Tennessee Titans, although the big thing is they've lost Jonnu Smith and they lost Corey Davis last year, which were huge pieces to their offense. I think that they definitely addressed the wide receiver position in the draft. And there is a bit of people out there, and I think Josh Reynolds is going to have a pretty good year this year for Tennessee.
Well, let's get into it with the Tennessee Titans. Welcome into the Sportsocracy. This is the Tennessee Titans 2021 win-loss projection video. I am Jeremy Greene of ESPN Radio. This is Brian Haynes. I honestly don't know how to feel about the Titans.
Okay.
I like the talent. I like the weapons. I think Arthur Smith's going to have an effect. But losing Arthur Smith to the Falcons, losing Jonnu Smith, losing Corey Davis, I think all of those things are going to have an effect. But then there was one thing that happened that I can't get away from. And it's the schedule. I can't stop looking at the schedule going, okay, so you get the Texans twice, the Jaguars twice. Those are guaranteed victories to me. And then I look at Seattle, the Jets, the Jaguars, the Patriots, the Saints. I said the Jaguars twice. I didn't mean to. I think there's 9 earmarked wins into this that I don't see how you're possibly going to lose them.
Yeah, they have a very, very favorable schedule. I'm looking at it right off the bat that, the Arizona, that's going to be a tough game to start off. Then they get Seattle. That's a winnable game. Indianapolis is going to be a tough game, but, they could easily win that. The Jets is a winnable game. Jaguars, winnable game. Buffalo, Kansas City. But then after you get past that first 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 or 8 games, it seems to be pretty good. They got the New Orleans Saints, who they're better than. They got the Texans, who they're better than. The Patriots, who they're better than. They got a bye week, then the Jacksonville. Pittsburgh's arm's probably going to fall off with Ben Roethlisberger. And then you just see so many wins piling up that it's hard to look at this team and not say they are a definite playoff team, if not a division winner and moving forward.
I don't believe they have done as much to address the outside weapons. I mean, it's not that I don't like Josh Reynolds. It's just I feel like a lot of things are predicated on the play-action passing game. But then I looked at the schedule and went, I do not see how you are any worse than 11-6. That's the absolute worst if you lose every game against every team that is even in the same ballpark as you. And I just don't see it. I think they're going to win a couple of those games. Tank, my usual partner, Tank Spencer, and I both have them at 13-4. And then I look at your list here, and you've got them at 10-7.
10-7.
I couldn't find 7 losses.
Right.
I don't know where 7 losses come in.
Yeah.
You've got them losing to the Bills in the wild card round. And I think you're on their absolute floor. And you're actually a game below the floor for me. Then you look at where I've got them. I got them playing Baltimore in the playoffs, which is unfortunate because I don't think they can beat Baltimore. But that's really just the Arthur Smith, Jonnu Smith, Corey Davis, losing all those guys' effect. I just don't think you have the weapons. This is a team that I really wanted to see draft Elijah Moore, who wound up going to my 2021 AFC East champion New York Jets.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I made that up. They don't win the division. But I wish you had done something like that. I think that would give you the ammo in the playoffs to beat somebody like Baltimore. But I still think you're going to be there. And once you get to the playoffs, you never know what could happen.
Yeah.
I think Derrick Henry's going to have a career year just solely because you don't have those outside weapons. I think the defense has improved, which is weird to say.
They were really bad last year.
You've added guys that I think can get after a quarterback.
Yeah.
I'm not dead set on that.
Yeah.
But just looking at the team on the whole, I think I don't think you're as good on offense. But then I look at adding Bud Dupree, having, a full year, hopefully, of Jeffrey Simmons, all of these things. And I actually think with Caleb Farley and Janoris Jenkins, I think you're improved on the backside.
Yeah.
I think Adoree Jackson might be a name that people know more than Farley and Jackrabbit.
Right.
I think that's better.
Yeah.
Adoree Jackson stayed hurt. And I know he was otherworldly athletic, but I just am not convinced that these guys aren't actually an improvement over that.
Right, and I look at their draft class, and their first 4 picks on defense, I think, are instant contributors to this team. I look at Caleb Farley, Elijah Molden, Monty Rice, and Rashad Weaver, and I really like Rashad Weaver a lot.
I like Rashad Weaver a lot.
I thought that was an excellent pickup late in the draft. Out of Pittsburgh, he showed signs. That guy was in the backfield a lot. If you watch ACC games, he was in the quarterback's face and disrupting a lot in the running game as well. I think you're going to find a spot for him. I think he's going to be that guy, especially if you can get him across from like Bud Dupree and kind of play the switch role where it was in Pittsburgh where TJ Watt was on that side. That would be the Bud Dupree thing. And then Rashad Weaver would be the Bud Dupree kind of. And Mike Vrabel is one of those coaches that I think he gets the best out of these kind of guys.
I really like Rashad Weaver. I don't quite look at him the same way you do. I think he can come in and be that first 2-down guy that will keep Harold Landry a little more rested. Harold Landry's not going to be asked to do as much. And I think as a situational pass rusher, which is what I believe he will be, I said in the pre-draft process, I think Rashad Weaver can come in and hold up against the run immediately. I don't know that he's going to be an elite pass rusher at any point, but I think he gives you a resurgence of Harold Landry, which is something you've been looking for since he was drafted.
Absolutely.
I just really, the more I see of this team, the more I like it. I wish you had something a little more than Dez Fitzpatrick and Jonathan Reynolds on the outside. Yeah. But I don't think it's going to keep you from being in the playoffs and giving you a shot to make a run.
Absolutely.
This has been the Tennessee Titans 2021 win-loss projection from the Sportsocracy. I'm Jeremy Greene. This is Brian Haynes. Join us live. Click the like and subscribe button every weekday, 9 a.m. right here in the Sportsocracy. All of your sports news, all of the jokes, all of the things, and no politics. As always, we are brought to you by Wicked Weed Brewing. Check out our friends Wicked Weed at wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different. All right, so now we've done the good.
Oh, boy.
And we're just going to skip the bad and go right to the ugly.
Oh, my goodness.
We'll just go straight into it.
Yep.
With the Houston Texans.
Oh, boy.
Welcome into the Wicked Weed Studios. This is the Houston Texans 2021 win-loss projections from the Sportsocracy. I'm Jeremy Greene of ESPN Radio. I'm joined by Brian Haynes. And I'm going to be really honest with you, Texans fans. I don't have a lot of good to say about this team.
I don't know what we can say about them other than you're about to witness probably one of the biggest dumpster fires that the league has ever seen.
And I'm talking about with Deshaun Watson.
Yes.
If you don't have Deshaun Watson, it's going to be a disaster.
Yeah.
I look at the schedule.
Oh, my God.
And I just go pillar to post on the schedule. And I'm going to level with you. I can't really figure out who the hell they're going to beat.
The only chance they have of winning games is against Jacksonville. That's the only chance they have.
That's it.
There's not another team on this schedule I look at it head-to-head and say they're going to beat them. I guess if you can say if Deshaun Watson plays, that maybe his talent alone can maybe get you another win or two. But there's no way other than that. I don't see a path that Houston Texans aren't picking number one in the draft next year.
Well, I mean, I just look at the rest of the schedule and go, who are you going to beat?
Yeah.
I mean, all right, the worst teams on your schedule are, in my opinion, the Seahawks, the Jets,
Patriots.
And the Patriots and the Panthers.
Yeah. And
outside of the Jaguars. You're not better than any of those teams.
No, you're not.
And you're not all that close.
Not even. I don't think it's even close at all.
I think this is a blip year for the Texans, which is why they took Davis Mills with the first pick they had in this draft.
And I just don't that pick to me shows me that they have no idea what they're doing.
No, because and the thing with Davis Mills that bothers me so much is, all right, let's just say for shits and giggles, let's say Davis Mills somehow winds up playing this year.
Yeah.
Do you realize how good he would have to be for you to not take Sam Howell or Keaton Slovis next year?
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
If you're out on Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
Let's say the Deshaun Watson thing settles. Now you used your first pick on a guy that's never going to play.
Well, and the only way I could also see this is if they didn't already have Tyrod Taylor on the team.
Tyrod's a one-year fix. Though.
I know, but I don't see why you would draft a quarterback when you have a quarterback that can get you through the season when you know that you're going to be so bad that you're probably going to be in the top one or two picks anyways. They're not forward thinking at all. They're not thinking about what's happening. They're thinking they think they're smarter than everybody in the room. They think Deshaun Watson's going to be their quarterback. And that's what I believe, because it just doesn't make any sense to me to have drafted Davis Mills without an idea of what's happening.
Or let me give you a slightly different thought.
Okay.
This is a team that's pretty bereft of talent.
Yeah.
This team looks like a team that you're trying to blow up when you're building a Madden roster.
I mean, it's like if there was a team 5 years ago, this team might be pretty decent.
So let me give you an alternate theory on what Nick Cesario could be thinking. Let's say you wind up in the top 5 of next year's draft, which I don't see any way that you don't. And a year from now, you've got an asset in Deshaun Watson, who's the best quarterback on the market by a mile.
Right.
He gets out of the legal things go away. They're settled. Whatever happens. A year from now, you have a GM that now, and everything I've heard out of Houston, their tenor on trading Deshaun Watson has changed. Don't be shocked if he's not on this roster week 1, by the way, because I've heard there's a team that has a lot of draft capital that's really interested, and it's the Philadelphia Eagles.
Wow.
They're trying to buy low. I get it. I don't think Houston's going to sell low because they don't have to. But let's just say you go into next year, you have Deshaun Watson, who it's becoming more and more clear to me that they're out on. And you have a top 5 pick. You wind up with a couple ones, you rebuild the draft capital, you can build this team the way Casario wants to.
Right.
Now I don't hate it. But you do have to understand that leads to a god-awful year this year, which is what I think is going to happen.
No matter what.
Tank Spencer, my usual partner, has them at 1-16, as do I.
Yep.
Brian, you have the Texans also at 1-16.
1-16. I have them beating the Jaguars in one game.
Yep.
At home.
And that's the thing. We had 5 people do this that are the staff of the Sportsocracy.
Yeah.
Between the 5 of us, we added up to 6 wins.
Yeah.
I've got them at 1-16. I think they're going to have the number 1 pick in the draft next year.
Yeah.
Which would lead to them taking a guy that we're pretty familiar with as affiliates of the North Carolina Tar Heels and Sam Howell, who I think is going to be a very good quarterback prospect.
Yeah.
I see a path where a year from now we look at the Texans completely differently. I don't know that David Culley is going to be the coach for long here. I could very easily see all of these things being resolved, him being a one-year coach, and they hire somebody new in a year. I honestly believe there is a path to that, because this was a job that was not looked at very favorably in this cycle.
Yeah.
I could see Culley being a one-year guy. Then you just restock the decks in a year with all the draft capital you could potentially have, and you just go from there. And that's me giving a ray of sunshine and a ray of hope to the Houston Texans. This has been the Houston Texans 2021 win-loss projection from the Sportsocracy. I'm Jeremy Greene. This is Brian Haynes.
Yep.
As always, we are joining you from the Wicked Weed Studios. Every weekday morning, make sure to click the like and subscribe button to see us 9 a.m. right here from these Wicked Weed Studios for the Sportsocracy Show. Be sure to check out our friends at Wicked Weed, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different. Well, we're halfway through the ugliness. And that means we got one team left. And this is a team that, we love Roy. Roy's our favorite Jaguars fan.
Yep, we love Roy.
And we love all the Jaguars fans because they're very nice to us. Except for the ones that tell me that except for the ones that say we sounds incredible dumb.
We sounds incredible dumb.
So let's get into it. The Jacksonville Jaguars.
Okay.
The team that brought us We Sounds Incredible Dumb.
Yep.
Live from the Wicked Weed Studios, I'm Jeremy Greene. This is Brian Haynes.
Yep.
And this is the Jacksonville Jaguars 2021 win-loss projection. Urban Meyer is here. A lot of new toys are here. And Goldilocks himself, Trevor Lawrence, is here.
Yes, he is.
The fairy tale that shall save the franchise. However, I don't think that will be happening this year. I looked at the schedule and immediately went, this is not going to go well.
Oh, God.
I mean, I want you to look at that and you tell me who they could actually, honest to God, plan on beating.
See, I actually have them winning 4 games.
I don't.
And I have them beating, and one of them is actually splitting with the Texans.
I have them beating the Texans once. I think that's a home and home.
And I look at the Seattle game is winnable, the Patriots game is winnable, and the Falcons game is winnable. And I know that sounds crazy. I just have a weird feeling. And I believe in Trevor Lawrence as a quarterback. I think this guy, and you said it, he was your highest rated quarterback that you've ever had. I think there's something to be said about this. This guy's a winner. You have enough pieces around you except for the offensive line, which I'm a little scared of offensively.
The offensive line doesn't bother me that much.
Yeah.
It does at the tackles because you shouldn't have Cam Robinson protecting his blind side.
It's just, I look at a wide receiver core of DJ Shark, Marvin Jones Jr., Laviska Shenault. I mean, they even have, as low down as Philip Dorsett, who is all decent.
He's not decent. Yeah. You said they could beat the Seahawks and the Patriots?
I think so.
That's not even kind of correct. They will get shellacked in both of those games. I look at this team and go, the best you can hope for is that you see improvement under Urban Meyer. Mm-hmm. Because I think there's going to be a learning curve for Trevor Lawrence. If you remember, and we know this because we're ACC affiliates, I saw him the first pass he ever threw at Clemson, and I've seen every one since. Mm-hmm. Do you remember what the knock on Trevor Lawrence was in the beginning?
I don't remember any knocks at all.
He threw into high coverage a lot. Mm-hmm. There were a lot of dropped interceptions, and I think you're going to see that all over again. I think he's going to feel like he has to do too much in the beginning. I don't love the line on the outsides. The interior's fine. I don't love the fact that you don't have a tight end, and before you say it, Tim Tebow is not a fucking tight end. I don't think you're going to be able to stop teams. I think there's a learning curve with Urban Meyer, too. Never been in the NFL. You got a lot of coaches here that have never coached a second in the NFL.
Right. And
I just think it's going to be a learning curve. I have them at 2-15. I have them beating the Texans once, and I have them beating the Cincinnati Bengals. Mm-hmm. That is it.
Yeah.
And I don't see many more wins on that schedule.
So
what I do see, on the other hand, is a lot of young pieces.
Yeah.
And I think if by the end of the year you see an improvement where you're more competitive. This is a team that was not competitive for the vast majority of last year. This is a complete rebuild. and this is going to have to be in Trent Baalke and Urban Meyer we trust. If you see the pieces coming through at the end of the year, whether it's Josh Allen, the pass rusher, Caleb on Chason, the secondary that's been pretty well overhauled, the receiving core, Travis Etienne and James Robinson out of the backfield. If you can just see the growth where these are pieces moving forward, I think you can build this team outside in, just knowing that this is going to be an ugly year.
Yeah, I mean, there's talent on this team for sure.
I just think it's in the wrong places.
And I'm interested to see what kind of offense Urban Meyer is going to, like, is he going to adapt to the pros, or is he going to keep going with that spread? And
well, I mean, that's an offense that can be run in the NFL.
Yeah, and
I don't have a problem with that.
And they have teams, and they have players that can fit that kind of offense. Those also lead to your quarterback getting hit more times than you'd like to, especially your number one pick in the draft.
Not always. It's just I don't understand why you would franchise Cam Robinson. I'm never going to get that.
Yeah,
I'm
that was
say that
such
in
a
every
big
Jaguars
surprise.
video we do.
Yeah.
I look. This is your breakdown of how the season goes.
Yep.
You have the Jaguars at 4-13.
I do.
Which would leave them as the second worst team in the AFC?
I believe so. Yes, I have the Texans the worst. They would be the second worst team by a game.
Yep, and you'd have them picking at 6 in the NFL draft next year. I conversely have the Jaguars at 2-15, which would make them the third worst team in the AFC, and would give them the fourth pick in the draft next year.
Yes.
I think a mixture of another draft class and another year for Urban to develop, build this team around Trevor Lawrence. I think there are pieces. I don't want to make it sound like Jacksonville is absolutely abandon all hope, all ye that enter here.
No, not at all.
It's not that. It's just, I think this is going to take a year more. A lot of Jaguars fans seem to think that just because Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence came to town, all of the problems are gone. They're not. And you're going to see them quickly because you didn't get a lot of favors with the schedule.
And also, not to mention, Urban Meyer is one I have a headache away from quitting on this team.
And I think that's over-exaggerated.
I know, but
I think the recruiting and things like that really pissed him off in college and all of the things that went into that. I'm not really scared of that. Urban's, I mean, yes, he's had issues, but according to everything I've heard, the medical issues they're pretty tame right now. I'm not as worried about that. What I'm worried about is everybody has to be on the same page, and everybody has to grow together, and everybody has to be patient.
Yeah.
The most important word when it comes to Jacksonville Jaguars is patience. This has been the Jacksonville Jaguars 2021 win-loss projection from the Sportsocracy. Be sure to click the like and subscribe button to see every time we go live, including every weekday right here from the Wicked Weed Studios at 9 a.m. I'm Jeremy Greene. This is Brian Haynes. Be sure to visit our friends at Wicked Weed Brewing. WickedWeedBrewing.com. Drink different. This has been the AFC South 2021 win-loss projections from the Sportsocracy. He's Brian Haynes. I'm Jeremy Greene. Be sure to click that like and subscribe button so you'll know every time we go live, including every weekday morning at 9 a.m. in the Sportsocracy. As always, we are brought to you by Wicked Weed Brewing. WickedWeedBrewing.com. Drink different.